Heartbreak comes in all forms. Sometimes it's an abrupt end, sometimes it's a loud argument, and sometimes it's just a gentle goodbye. And before you know it, the relationship is over. But not just the relationship, but the version of you that once existed. Heartbreak doesn't look the same for everyone. It can be sharp or slow, messy or quiet. Some people cry and are completely inconsolable. Some go numb and say nothing. Some just keep moving while something aches beneath the surface. But whatever it looks like for you, psychology offers a few clues about why it feels so intense and what's happening beneath the heartbreak. Psychologically, heartbreak is more than emotional pain. It's processed in the brain as physical pain. When someone we're attached to leaves, it activates our anterior cingulate cortex, the same areas involved in physical pain responses. That's why it feels like you've been punched in the chest, even if no one's touched you. That emotional pain resonates. And there is so much more happening chemically. Your brain is withdrawing from connection. Oxytocin, dopamine, neurotransmitters which were once bonded together, suddenly drop. And at the same time, cortisol, your stress hormone, it's rising. It's a neurological cocktail of pain, grief, and loss. Hi, Dirk. Dirk's come to say hi. Do you have any wise words for heartbreak? Clearly, he's just as lost as I am. Hi, I'm Jasmine, and I love all things psychology. If you're interested in topics and subjects all based around psychology, this is the place for you. And I'm absolutely dedicated to bringing you psychological research backed by studies, research, and psychologists. If that feels like something you'd be interested in, don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment down below for more. But for now, let's understand the psychology behind heartbreak. Heartbreak isn't just about missing a person. Your brain is reacting to the loss of safety, routine, and regulation. Heartbreak means that your brain is working exactly as it's meant to. Your brain is literally designed this way. So heartbreak is effectively recalibration. Your brain is getting used to a new normal without them. So, who am I without them? Heartbreak doesn't just feel like you've lost someone. It can feel like you've lost yourself. That's because relationships don't exist outside of us. They live inside our identity. Psychologists Arthur and Elaine Aron call this self-expansion, the idea that we grow by including close others into our self-concept. When you're in love, you don't just gain affection. You gain access to someone's inner world, their humor, routines, dreams, social circles. You try new things, adopt their shared habits. Your identity starts to stretch around them. And all of that feels good, because your brain experiences novelty and closeness as rewarding. Self-expansion can increase joy, motivation, and even a sense of purpose. But when the relationship ends, that expanded self collapses. You're not just grieving the loss of them, you're grieving the parts of you that existed with them. And this collapse can lead to an identity crisis. Who are you now, without their influence? What's yours and what was ours? This is what Erickson referred to as a role confusion. When we lose the anchors that help define who we are. If you feel lost right now, it's not just because you miss them. It's because you're also trying to remember who you were before them, and you could be trying to imagine who you're going to be next. And all of that can feel really scary at first. So, the withdrawal effect. Heartbreak isn't just emotional, it's chemical. When we're in love, the brain releases a cocktail of neurochemicals. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, that make us feel bonded, secure, and even euphoric. The same pathways that light up during drug highs are active in early romantic love. And when that bond breaks, the brain doesn't just move on. It goes into withdrawal. When we talk about the love drug cocktail, we're really talking about 3 major chemicals in the brain. Dopamine. This is the one that makes love feel exciting. It's linked to anticipation, reward, and motivation. Oxytocin, sometimes called the cuddle hormone. Released during touch, closeness, and it's the glue in attachment. Serotonin. This helps to keep our mood balanced, but in early love, it can drop. This helps to explain obsessive, anxious thoughts. When relationships end, that imbalance can worsen. So when a relationship breaks, all 3 of the chemicals are thrown off balance. It's not just about emotional loss that hurts, It's the sudden withdrawal from every substance that were regulating your brain. Studies using fMRI scans have shown that people experiencing heartbreak show activity in the same brain areas as those withdrawing from addiction. It's not a metaphor, it's quite literally biology. This is why your body might ache, why you can't sleep, why you feel nauseous, maybe jittery, and usually exhausted. Your nervous system is completely dysregulated because it is still experiencing connection. Your brain doesn't just miss them, it misses the chemical stability they brought. The regulation, the rhythm, the calm. So if you're wondering why it feels so difficult, why it feels like withdrawal, it's because it is. So, why it feels like identity loss. Sometimes the pain of losing them isn't actually about them. It's about losing the version of you that once existed with them, the future that you'd planned with them, the rituals you shared, the version of you that only existed with them in that relationship. Psychologists call this self-expansion theory. When we fall in love, we incorporate aspects of the other person in our self-concept. Their values, routines, language, goals. It's a psychological process of identity building. So when the relationship ends, you don't just lose them, you lose everything you'd built with them. It's a rupture in how you see yourself. Research shows that after a breakup, people often experience a drop in self-concept clarity, the inner sense of, I know who I am. That's why you might feel a little bit blank. The grief that no one talks about. Heartbreak is a version of grief, but it is a strange kind of grief, because nobody technically died, and yet it feels like something huge is missing, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Psychologists describe this kind of pain as ambiguous loss. It's the kind of grief that comes from losing something or someone without closure. Boss defines ambiguous loss as a loss that's unclear, lacks resolution, and remains frozen in time. There are two types: physical absence with emotional presence, physical presence with emotional absence. Heartbreak often contains both. The person still exists in the world, but not in your life. Naming ambiguous loss is the first step to healing, because when grief has no name, it becomes stuck. But once you can say, this was real, this mattered, and it hurts, you give grief a shape. And with shape comes the ability to move forward. So, how to start healing? Heartbreak does not follow a neat timeline. You cannot schedule recovery, and healing doesn't mean you'll never think of them again. And eventually, you'll become indifferent, and you'll feel at home somewhere else. Healing from heartbreak is a form of identity rebuilding. Psychologist Dan McAdams describes narrative identity as the internal story we tell about who we are. When the relationship ends, it's like stopping mid-sentence. That's why heartbreak can feel like an identity crisis. It doesn't just ask, where are they? It asks, who am I? A few things that can help to rebuild your identity, that can really help when you're feeling extra lost. Journaling, self-expansion, self-compassion, naming the loss, and reconnecting with safe people. You don't have to rush to find yourself again. Sometimes you just have to come back to yourself, one tiny piece at a time. Start with the moments that feel like peace, whether that be a cup of tea, a cuddle with your cat, or a quiet morning. And that is what healing sounds like. So, healing the brain. Your brain is literally wired to adapt. Not quickly, not easily, but definitely. The brain goes through withdrawal after heartbreak. But the brain is neuroplastic. That's neuroplasticity in action. The brain's ability to form new pathways, even through pain. Every time you do something nourishing, call a friend, cry, rest, you're helping to restabilize your brain. If you do want to understand more about neuroplasticity, I do have a video just for you. I'll link it above for you and I'll link it below. So, though it might not always feel like progress, these tiny actions count. They start to lay down new paths, new tracks, and most importantly, new patterns that will help you heal. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be present. Heartbreak doesn't have a timeline, there is no step-by-step formula to fix it, and there is no single right way to feel. Heartbreak is personal. It's shaped by our history, our attachment styles, and your nervous system. Your grief is not weakness, it's a reflection of your capacity to love, and that is incredibly brave. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. For more about attachment styles and maybe why you try to fix people, check out my videos down below. I've got plenty more psychology-based videos for you, and if that's something you're interested in, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, comment them down below and I'll try my very best to answer them. That's it for now. Bye!